Hello gamers. Right, so today is the 26th October 2024 and we're now up for second mission that I've ever played of Warfighter, the Modern Special Forces card game by DVG Games. First game was just a few days ago, was a big success, very much enjoyed it. Managed to complete the mission with only one spare turn left, and that was against it was in the Middle East, not against the military forces, it was against insurgents. And this one is I've already been bitten by the expansion pack bug, and I picked up the Fallujah expansion pack, and we're using some of that today, and there were a small number of British forces involved at I believe it was the second battle of Fallujah, and so we've got a British team today. As with the previous mission, it's come down to 3 soldiers. The mission is Battle Anthem, and we had these numbers here. Okay, and so it's a shorter mission. We've only got the other one was 11, a timer of 11, and this one has got a timer of 9, so we're up here. The objective is not so far away, it's 4 spaces away. It's interesting because the objective has got this thing here which says keep clear 3, and so that means that after we activate that, which we can do when we've got somebody next door, after we've activated it, to complete the mission, we have to keep it free of hostiles for 3 consecutive turns. So that's going to be quite a job, I would think. Let's see, as far as the team goes, I'm going to assume this is an Italian pronunciation, so I think that would be Chimenti. It's not a name I've seen before. We'll say he's Chimenti. Then we have Sassoon, and probably has relatives who'll give you a first-class haircut. And then we've got Squaddy down here, Benson. And standout factors there are we've got Sassoon has got this piece of equipment here, the L7A2 machine gun. We didn't have one of those before, so packs a punch, and even has a bipod. Deploy the bipod and you can use spray fire, and also has an ACOG sight there, so should definitely be quite powerful, quite a powerful combination there. Also, the mission says that we have to add 2 to the hostile value of the locations and the objective, so I put those there to try and remind me to do that. So this is the hostile value here. We're starting out with 46 resource points, so whereas here we would normally have had 3 hostile resource points here, we're going to add 2 to it, so there's going to be 5, for example. We're about to get going. We're we're at the start-off point there. We have not actually started yet. This is what has been drawn. Unlike the last mission, Chimenti has got a health of 6 and is not a veteran, so he's picking 6 cards. That's right. In the previous mission, what was it? He was a veteran. Sorry, as I remember, that meant you could pick 7 cards, but you had to keep only 6. So that's what we started off with. One of them is a location, which could have been played and put here, or when the game got started. But that can't happen because it takes 2 experience points to play, and we don't have any experience points, so we can't play it. So that means, as far as I can see, that means that as things stand, we can't move because we don't have any locations to play. So the first thing that's going to happen, or one of the first things that's going to have to happen, is that Chimenti is going to have to draw some new cards to try and get a location so we can move on. I take that to be simulating something along the lines of either, well, they just haven't found a good route yet. This route is there, but I don't know, they haven't figured out how to get there safely or something like that. Yeah, so it is interesting because immediately, not surprisingly, in this game, and indeed in real warfare, not immediately, you've got a problem. Right, so let's press on. Well, the narrative is building pace rapidly here. We're already off to a sticky wicket. Remember, we are dealing with the Brits here. We're already off to a sticky wicket because Chimenti here, he was trading in cards and drawing new and couldn't for the life of us get going with a location, you see. And finally we got a location. Oh, and it's a doozy, I'll tell you. You've got let's see, add this location's number to the hostile value. So you had 3 hostiles, that's gone up to his location 2, so that's gone up to 5. And remember, it was already up 2 because of the mission. So they actually had a hostile value of 7, so we drew hostiles to the value of 8 resource points, 5 cards, and one of them's even ended up where we are at the starting position, the close-range duo, which are placed in the targeted location there. And then we've got all this lot that wouldn't even fit on the board, stacked up in the enemy guard post. So, yeah, and we've also lost a turn. Or rather, it took us a turn to just get going. Yes, sticky wicket. So, I think, well, I don't know what's going to happen next, but let's stay tuned and we'll see what happens. Well, the timer has moved down to 7. We're into the next turn, or we're just at the start of the next turn, and the previous turn was extremely well, hectic, bloody. Let's see. As we can see from the experience points here, Sassoon with the L7A2 machine gun has been blasting away. He also used 2 of the snapshot cards, so was able to fire, I think it was 4 times, and he also set up I think he had another free card as well. He set up the bipod, so he's really been blasting away. And the elimination of the enemy has been done by Sassoon, and by Benson did one. He did the loyal gunman over here. But there were 5 batches of them there, and they've all been eliminated. The one thing that's dragging the heels at the moment is that Chimenti is still back here, hasn't managed to get forward yet. Let's see. Sometimes, I mean, it's early days for me because it's only the second mission I played, but you really have to sort of look closely at the people you choose, because I realised that good old Benson here, I mean, he's got a range of 0, so that's, it's worth noticing that when you select your when you select your soldiers. And I say here's to it. Right, so let's see, what else did we have? We did have the... yes, he used a grenade. That's right, he used a grenade to take out the local gunman. Let's see, I know that Chimenti did a card draw, for example, to try and get things going, to try and sort of ungum the works and get things moving. And then we're looking at the next location, which we'll probably go ahead and take, looking at our various routes on the map here, so to speak, figuratively. There's a crashed helo, and we gain 1 cover in there, so that looks like a good place to use as the route that takes us to the holdfast here. So it looks like that is going to be going there very shortly. Didn't play it there now because if we had, then we would have put out all the hostiles, as far as I can see anyway. We would have put out all the hostiles, and then in their turn they would have been able to fire at us. And so there's no one shooting at us right now because we've just eliminated all of them. Right, so let's press on with well, I say its timer is on number 7, so it's actually, I suppose, the third turn. Yeah. And look at this lot. Right, decided to what happened, we got Chimenti to bring up the rear. So he was able to move up to here by, we played an advance. We got him to move up to here. And then we decided to deploy towards the crashed helo. And remember, we had to up the hostiles by 2, so we had 5 resource points. And we drew this lot, 5 cards again, including a machine gun crew. Yeah, you know, there's a lot going on here. And they up the entrance cost. When there's 2 of them, they up the entrance cost to the location by 2. So if they are still there, and of course they're screened by, let's see, they're screened by them and them and them, but they up the entrance cost by 2. So that would mean to get into here, this would have an entrance value of 6. Which nobody has, not surprisingly. So a lot of cards would have to be played to be able to get in there. Yes. Well, I mean, I suppose it is appropriate that it should be difficult to do this, because if it weren't, then this would be an awfully short scenario, wouldn't it? You know, with sort of not far to go. Although, wait a minute. No, that's true, isn't it? Because you have to, of course, oh dear, the timer really is ticking, isn't it? Because you've got to keep it clear for 3 turns. 3 successive turns. So yeah, that means you've got to be doing that by this point here. So yeah, there's not a lot of spare time here. Right, keep the pressure up. Yes, good scenario design. Right, pressing on. And here we are. The timer moves on. This time our the attacks of the British forces against, I'm twisting my brain here, a lot of the time, sorry, slight digression, I realise that because I spend so much time playing both sides of a 2-player game, I'll refer to myself and then I'll say, or rather the British commander, or rather the German commander, or rather the American, etc., etc. But of course, this is a solitaire game, so yes, I am commanding excuse me, the Brits. So I can say we and things like that. Right, so yes, didn't do so well this time. It certainly made a dent in the enemy forces, and certainly managed to let's see, that's right, they had a suppression marker on them, and let's see, who managed to fire at us? It was either them or them. They fired at us. And we did eliminate some enemy forces. So there were 5 cards up there, and now there are only 3. No reinforcements showed up at the enemy guard post. Let's see, we only managed to get Benson forward. It was determined to be very useful to have old Sassoon here with his machine gun to stay there with the bipod deployed and just keep firing away, because it is an extremely useful weapon, although it did extraordinarily well in the previous turn and not so well, as I say, this time. I did learn one thing, and that is that if the screening forces and the machine gun crew is screened, in this instance by the loyal gunman, that if the screening forces are, of course, if they're eliminated, they're not screening anymore, but if they're suppressed, they're not screening anymore either. So that's definitely something to keep in mind, because what we're trying to do is get at the machine gun crew. And so there we are. So now we're ready to start out for the next turn. The counter is going down. It's down to 6. And old Chimenti has no cards, no action cards at all, so surely one of his first things to do is going to be to spend an action to get his 6 action cards and go from there. And yes, exciting stuff. What else has happened? So Sassoon, of course, has been accumulating and spending experience points. poor Benson has been, no, he hasn't been wounded. He's been suppressed, right? Okay. And so he's going to have to shake that off. And then we've got, we did go through ammo on the machine gun. We've only got 2 grenades left out of 4. Let's press on. And here we are. Now the timer is down to 5 over there. The clock's ticking, and we're going to be hard pressed here because remember we have to keep this clear for 3 turns, and we're running out of space to make that happen. Let's see, what do we have? Well, as we can see, we've managed to eliminate most of the enemy. These were reinforcements that came on at the last minute. They took a pot at us and didn't get anywhere. As before, Sassoon with the machine gun has been causing most of the damage. Once he got rid of the machine gun crew, that meant that Chimenti, who's the slow mover, well, sort of medium speed, I suppose, was able to finally move up. Sassoon just was told to remain in position because he was doing so well with his machine gun with the bipod deployed. Let's see. Got plenty of experience points. We've also got, now we've been paying for, we've paid to retain this. Got sniper support. And let's see, is there anything else? Nobody's injured. Nobody's suppressed. Sassoon has been ripping through the ammunition. He's got 2 ammo counters left. So, that's ripping through for sure, because of course once he uses up all that ammo, all he's got left is a grenade, so he doesn't even have a pistol. So, yeah, I'm thinking, thinking this through. I mean, you do sort of think, well, maybe maybe next time I just have 2 people on a mission like this, because it'd be nice to see them kitted out with a bit more stuff. Grenades are terribly handy as long as you're, in the location. But yes. Anyway, right. So off we go now, playing the. What did we start on? We started on 9, so we've had 9, 8, 7, 6. So this will be the 5th turn. Right, off we go. Okay, and here we are. The timer has moved down to mission time of 4. So what we have to do is we've got to keep the destination, the objective, clear of hostiles, either in timer segments 4, 3, and 2, which is what we're about to start, or we could do it in segments 3, 2, and 1. So we've either got to start on it this turn, or at the very latest, we're going to start on it next turn, and it has to be clear. The objective has to be clear for 3 consecutive turns. Obviously, when we activated the objective, the hostiles appeared, and we were able to eliminate 2 of the cards. That's right. One was a machine gun crew, and one was something else. Let's see. Benson has managed to make it into the destination. The objective. Let's use the right terminology. And then back at the crashed helo, we've still got the leader Chimenti and Sassoon, the very capable machine gunner, who has moved forward and set up again with his bipod and is doing good work. He certainly eliminated the machine gun crew. Let's see, what else have we got? Yes, Benson, who has put himself right there in the front line because he does have a range of 0. And he was also randomly, of course, targeted by several of the hostiles. And as a result of which, he has taken all the punishment. He's got 2 suppression markers on him, and he's also got a wound. So we're going to have to watch out for that. Let's see, what else? That is where we are. We've done a draw of cards. We've held on to the sniper support. We've got a card here that we can't use because we don't have any suppressed weapons, so we'll be using that as one of the cards to pay for that. And we're ready to go ahead and play out segment 4, which is, actually, I know it's sort of counting backwards, obviously. So what would that be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 6th turn now. Okay, and here we are. We're now at mission timer has gone down to 3. I put a little marker over there, this little explosion marker, not particularly appropriate, but it's just a little check mark for me that at the end, or rather at the end of the player segment of that timer number 4, the objective was clear. We had cleared out all the hostiles, and then they had reinforcements. This chap showed up here, and then these 2 were triggered in this column, but the close range duo are to be placed in the targeted location, so they went straight towards, they had drawn number 2, so they went straight towards where number 2 was, and they attacked him successfully, caused a wound. Anyway, so we did make the first one, we had cleared this out. Now when we, in our next turn, or this turn now, which is going to be timer number 3, we're going to have to clear it out again, which shouldn't be too difficult because there's only that one there, and we have to do this now for 3 consecutive. We can't have any gaps. There isn't enough time. We have to do it for timer segment 4, which we've done, segment 3 and segment 2. Okay, so yeah, it looks like we got a pretty good chance. We have had some we've taken on some damage though to our chaps. Chimenti has got 2 wounds, so his health is now down to 4 out of 6. Sassoon has taken a hit, so his health is now down to 3. That means he's only got 2 actions. He used to have 3, but now he only has 2. And then also down here, of course, no healing has been done to Benson, who has only got 2 actions and he's only got 1 health. So he's in pretty bad shape, but it was a conscious decision. There was no first aid taken along this time. The idea was that we just didn't have the room. So we'll find out how costly a decision that was. There are some cards, don't know how many, but there are some cards that you can get in the action deck which will, I believe, which can heal wounds. I'm pretty sure, but don't hold out too much hope on that. Right. So now we're in timer segment 3, and is there anything else I want to mention? Oh, that's right. Of course, this was also very interesting because the first time each player soldier, of course, I've only got 1 player soldier, that's Chimenti, enters the objective location in this one. You find 2 resource points of grenades. So they were picked up by Chimenti, and sure enough, one of them was lobbed at the enemy with rather disappointing results, as I remember. Only killed 1 person out of 2, I think it was, even though a grenade is worth 4 dice. So anyway, so we got some extra supplies there in that sense, and we press on. Okay, we're now at timer slot 2, so we have 2 turns left to play. But in this turn, which is the 8th turn of the game, we must make this the 3rd consecutive turn in which we will have cleared the objective of hostiles at the end of our soldier player turn, which is, of course, in the sort of sequence of play, it's like sort of halfway through. It's like we do our stuff, we have to have cleared it at that point, and then the hostile reinforcements will come in and they will shoot at us. Okay, which is what's been happening. But on both occasions in the previous 2 turns, we have cleared it completely as required, and then the hostiles have appeared. And they have been doing more damage, unfortunately, it has to be said. They've been dealing it out for sure, and we've got so of course we have poor old Benson down here is 1 wound away from death, and Sassoon has been hit badly, and he is now also 1 wound away from elimination, and Chimenti is at 2, as he was, I think, before, perhaps. Yes, so we were able to deal with some of the hostiles. No, we were able to deal with all of them. That's right, we got rid of all of them. And then this lot appeared. So machine gun crew, we've seen the likes of them before. But we've also this time got a machine gunner fanatic who has all kinds of interesting qualities in that he's more likely to be hit. So it's a +2 for when you're shooting at him. But he's also fearless, so that means he can't be suppressed. And what he deals out is pretty darn nasty. So there we are. What else have we got? I think anything over here? Anything over here? No. Right, so we press on. I'd say we have a pretty good chance of accomplishing the mission. What we have to do is, of course, we have to eliminate them. And let's see what we can do. So we're on our 8th turn of 9, right? Right, and just for a change, this time I'm going to film the whole thing. I will abbreviate some of it. I won't spell it all out. I won't sort of explain the rules and all that sort of thing. I'll just sort of generalize. Chimenti has decided not to draw cards. He likes the look of these cards. He can only have 4 anyway, given his current health. He likes the look of these cards. He's not going to be using that because although that would enable them to just automatically take out the machine gunner fanatic there, he would have to pay 2 cards to do it. So we'd have to get rid of 2 of those to be able to do it. And that is deemed to be too costly because this increases your ranged attack. This defeats cover. And this means you can get a shot without paying an action point for it. Okay, so these are screened by anyone with a value of 0 or 1. So that's that. So therefore he is going to be screening them. So he has to either be suppressed or killed outright. Sorry about the glare there. I gotta watch the camera. Suppressed or killed outright before we can take on the machine gun crew. Right, so we can't fire at him first. Okay, so I would say, let's see, this chap down here, he's got a suppression, so we're going to pay an action to get rid of his suppression. We have to do that before we can do anything else. Now, we could use that one there to pay to give him a free shot without using that action, but as things go, he's not one of the best soldiers to be using, so I'm not going to spend that on him. So instead, we're going to have him take a pot at him, and see what can be done. Right. So to do that, he has a cover of 1, and so to beat the cover, we've got to roll it or higher. Well, we can't possibly fail to roll that on a 6-sided die. So I'm going to remind myself of that by not even rolling the 6-sided die. That means that the cover is beaten, and then he's got a be hit level of +2. So we add 2 to our attack dice because he is so fearless, and he's out there spraying his machine guns around. So he makes a good target. So we would normally hit him on a 7, and if we don't use any of these modifying cards, then we are going to hit him on a 5. And there we go. We got a 7 anyway. So we've hit him. He's worth 1 experience point. So we'll put that back in the pot. We've eliminated him. He's worth 1 experience point. So let's grab an experience point and give that to the trusty Benson down there. It is Benson, right? Yeah, Benson. Well done. Well done, lad. Well done. Right. So now they have no one screening them. Things are looking good. Okay, so let's see. We've got no, there are no special effects there. They do have good cover. They've got cover of 4. But if we fire with this card, which is treat your defeat cover roll as being 6, so that means cover is we've penetrated their cover. We've got no problem there. We do need to use that, even though this is a penetration of 2. if we rolled a 1, we could still fail to get through. So we are going to use that. And let's see. So we're rolling. We're not in burst mode, but we are in auto mode. So we're rolling 3 dice, but we will only get 1 casualty out of this. If we were rolling in burst mode, we could get 2 casualties out of this. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is he's going to spend 1 action before he does this, and he is going to put down the bipod like that. So now we're in burst mode, and I'm going to pay this to pay for his attack, okay? So, because otherwise he wouldn't have had any actions. So this is the big deal now for the machine gun. It's going to be the last time. It's going to be the last time it fires. And so not only, no, let's see, we know we've defeated the cover, and we have got, also we can pay, here we go, there's an experience point to give us a 2 that we're adding to the attack rolls. So in we go. Whoops, that was a 2, put that over there. Oh my gosh, we got 1, but we only got 1. That would become a 9. Which is good enough, but that one there, the 2, would become a 4. That's no good. Right, so we got 1 hit, and we also got a reload, so that would go to there. Doesn't matter because it looks like it's going to be all over anyway. So we did get 1 hit. Talk about coming down to the wire. Absolutely coming down to the wire. Right, so that was a burst. That's one of the dangers of doing a burst, obviously, is that, not a burst, of doing, well, yeah, you're rolling that many dice. That's right, full auto. Okay, so in the sense that good chance that you'll, you'll run out of ammo. Right. Okay, so now, let's see. All right, we've played that. Declares an attack. Yeah. That continues now throughout the turn, right? That everybody gets to add 2, because we did pay for that. We upgunned it. So now that means we're down to Commenti, who has got 2 actions left. Okay, he could play with fire, and he could pay 1 of those to draw cards, and just see what comes up. Or let's see, he's at a range of 0. So therefore, oh, that's good, because he kills on a 5, but because of the +2, that means he would kill on a 3. And we've only got 1 person we're trying to kill. But the problem is the cover, because they've got 4 for cover. The other alternative is he's got a grenade, so he could throw the grenade. The grenade has a penetration of 1, so that will add 1 to your cover die roll. So that would mean that you'd beat it if you rolled, even if you rolled a 3, you would beat it. So a 1 or a 2 would fail. I would think about this. No, I think it's going to have to be the grenade. Okay, we're going to use the grenade. But that means we don't get that because it's not a ranged attack. And the grenade kills on a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 50% chance. Oh, it's iffy, isn't it? Or should I fire with a rifle twice? I got to do the math again. Okay, we're going to use the full auto on his rifle. The cover is 4. So that means 4, 5, or a 6 will succeed. 1, 2, 3 will fail. So it means there's a 50-50 chance that the cover will fail. But he gets to add 2 to his rolls, so that means he kills on he will now kill on a 3 at a range of 0. He will kill on not a 5, but he will kill on a 3. Okay. And if on any of these attack dice, we roll a 1 or a 2, he has to reload. All right, just get on with it and roll it. Okay, here we go. Right. We beat the cover, yay! And we have to reload, oh well. But because we get to add 2 and we kill on a 5, we got 2 hits. So we got the beggar. We did. That's another KIA. Right, there's no need to mark it. This team is eliminated. That's 2 experience points. Let's do this according to form for Chimenti. There we go. His weapon ran out of ammunition. There we are. That was his first action. Okay, so, well, they have completed their mission. Now look at that, though. The thing. Obviously, it's a very simple test that you can apply to a game, especially I find with solitaire games, because solitaire by design games, because it's been you've been playing against the game system itself, the bots, the AI, the mechanism, okay, the programmed opponent. What I was going to get to was it's a very significant benchmark or test, as it were. Look at how close that was. Okay, if that shot had failed, oh well, look. I mean, we had one spare action, so that was after 8 turns of activity. Lots and lots of die rolls, lots and lots of card draws. They had their one turn left. You might say, well, hang on a second, Jeff, they've still got 1 turn left, but no, they don't. They have to have 3 consecutive end of player turns where they've cleared the enemy out of there, and that's what they've got right now, their third one. If they had failed on this one, then they would have had another turn to play, but there would have been no point. They couldn't have won. So yes, play balance. When it comes down to being that close to securing victory, you know that you've got a game which is fine-tuned as far as I'm concerned. Now, of course, you could play another mission and you might get dramatically different results. And, of course, it could be that the die roll have turned up some highly improbable results, or it could be you get very different results that are not at all finely balanced because you've played really, really badly, or you've played really, really well. So there we go. Anyway, so at the end of it all, of course, it does in a situation like this, especially in a situation where you have these experience points and where you have these wounds. I'll make a note of this. Well, of course, I'm making a note of it because I'm making a video, but I'll try to make a special note of this because I have not read anything about the notion of sort of running a campaign, as it were. So I see here in the Universal Rulebook, right there, page 94, campaign rules, okay? Because it would be nice to start stringing this together and saying, okay, this is what they ended up with. So, in between this and the next mission, what occurs? Do they somehow get upgraded somehow? Because I've not read a word of the campaign rules. Can Sassoon, for example, get slightly upgraded because he's got all these experience points? And that's interesting, isn't it? Because, of course, he's ending up the game with these 5 experience points. But during the course of the game, I think he's probably had, I wouldn't be surprised if he'd had, like 15 experience points or something like that, because he's eliminated a lot of enemy. And we've spent a lot of experience points because he's been earning them. But also then, the wounded, would you be in a situation where you'd continue the campaign, and it might be that one of the soldiers starts a mission wounded. Of course, why not? It's an entirely possible situation, and it's easy to simulate. All you have to do is start them off with a wound counter on them, and there you are. Yes, and I also think that, so overall, what do I think? And speaking from experience, I think it's definitely the case that the next time out, I might think about, next mission that I play, I might think about having perhaps unless there are just loads and loads of resource points to go around, I might think about having even just, of course, it's sort of putting your all eggs in one basket if you only have, let's say, 2 men or 2 soldiers. But have them better equipped, so have them at least with sort of, a first aid kit with them, and maybe, I like the grenades too, maybe some more grenades, I mean, of course in war games, it's like, well, I mean, when we say grenade, I mean, does that really mean that he has 1 grenade, or is that meant to sort of simulate, well, actually he's got 4? Well, I get the impression that it is supposed to literally mean that he's got 1 grenade. So I think I would like to see my chaps going out there with a bit more than that. And as I understand it too, in the strictest reading of the rules, it says that they can exchange ammunition. I'm not sure if they all can, but some of them can exchange ammunition when they're in the same or adjacent locations. Maybe it's the same location, I can't remember, or if they're in adjacent locations, something like that. But it says ammunition, like, italicized ammunition, as opposed to, weapons or equipment. And I think, let's have a look at the grenade. So that says it's a weapon card. Yeah, I thought so. So I take that to mean not grenades, which, to me seems a little... wouldn't it be nice if you could just say, hey, can anybody use some grenades? Here are some grenades. As opposed to, can anybody use some rifles? Which seems like less probable. But so as I read it, you can't exchange grenades. Anyway, right, delving into the details there. So that was the second mission then. That was, and that was from the Fallujah add-on pack. Add-on pack. And we did mission Battle Anthem, and our objective was the Hold Fast, and it was done with 3 Brits, and although they have been badly knocked about, they survived, and they pulled it off. They completed their mission within the allotted time frame, and I say here's to it.